Hello, everyone. How are you tonight? I'm gonna get this review going. Give me 1 second, actually. Let me just do something quick. I gotta do something quick. Give me 1 second, guys. As I do that, um, this is the 6th. I had to do a few things prior to streaming. I've been telling myself that it's like, okay, before you stream, you gotta finish this or finish that. So that's just the way it is now. I think it's a lot better that way. That way, anyway. Um, I just finished something I'm working on for all day. I'm gonna add this so I don't do it during the show, even though you guys might be hearing it. I'm sorry if you do. Let me get off here 1 second. If you guys can hear it, sorry guys. I don't want to repeat what happened last time. Let me get out of here. All right. All right, guys. If you're here, great. If not, I'm just going to review this part 6 of Born Again. And as I've done for the last few, I wanted to show you the artist edition and show you a few choice pages from part 6. Give me 1 second. Also, you guys, I mentioned that Maz Kelly, 2007, I don't know if it was for a commission or something he just did on his own. He drew a number of pieces of Daredevil in his current style. It's not here. Ha, okay. I guess that was the last one that they had for the last, okay. Actually, this is interesting. They don't have one for the front. Okay. They have one left for the last one, so I'll show that to you then. They don't have one. Anyway, here's the cover. That iconic cover of Nuke. Great pose, great drawing. Hey, zombie boy. Woo! So I'm gonna show a few choice pages here again. Look at this, man. Look at this. Look at the framing. A Ben Urich right there. Right there. Look at that. Look at that look on his eyes. This is a hell of a scene, guys. A hell of a scene. Really, really good stuff. I'll show a few more and then I'll just start the review. You gotta give me a second. I have to set it up, actually. God damn it. I should have done that prior to this. But let me just show you this. Love this shot. Everyone's running away from the danger, and of course, the hero is running towards it. Matt Murdock. So let me get this set up, actually, first here before I get on there. Give me 1 minute, guys. Doesn't seem to be okay. I'm just gonna get the correct pages on screen. The way they will look. Let me get to the right spot. Okay. This one's called God and Country. That's what this particular. Thanks, Willie D. Appreciate that. Can't wait for Big Man. I can't wait to get it out either, guys. I really want to kick ass in the fulfillment and get you guys raring to go for issue 2. I can't wait to set it up. Hello out there. Cheers from down under. Hey, Steve. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. Now let me get this on the correct screen and get it right. And then I can start the review. Okay. I think I can move it a little to the left. I think that'll work. Okay. All right, guys. So here we go. This is the sixth part of my Daredevil Born Again reviews. And this is, if you were to ask me what's your favorite comic book story, I think this is Frank Miller's greatest writing. I think this is his greatest writing. I think Dark Knight Returns is his greatest full comic book where he wrote Andrew. So that's the way I distinguish between those two. It's like Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. Fountainhead, to me, it's my favorite novel, the greatest novel I ever read. And then you got Atlas Shrugged. It's like the most epic novel I've ever read, and the greatest. I don't know. I don't know how to put it in words yet, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, guys, so look at this cover. Hell of a cover. It's fantastic, even with the very simple primary color here with the red and the blue. And then you have the yellow from the logo to the behind Daredevil. It's a great pose, great cover. I love the way the letters go behind, in front of his leg there and behind his leg there. I love that. It's a very powerful, bold ink lines to make Nuke's eyes. And then that corner box, he's back in the suit and he's putting on that glove. It's awesome. So this is where we get to meet Nuke for the first time. We've been hearing about him for the last few issues. Kingpin told his right-hand man, Wesley, get me Nuke. And he's like, please tell me you're not serious. For a domestic job? He goes, I did not invite debate. That's it. I'm not asking you. Do your goddamn job. So it starts off here with two hands, one giving the other hand this red pill, with the one person say, give me a red. This is Nuke, who has a tattoo of the U.S. flag on his face. Our boys, our boys. Nuke, what's wrong, boy? That's wrong, boy. You've got it wrong. We are not in Vietnam. You are not looking for MIAs. This is Nicaragua. Betsy forgot to set Betsy. He forgot to set his incredibly powerful looking rifle. Good count. Best yet. I'll top it for you, Colonel. You'll get your chance, boy. There's a lot of them down there. And they're holding our boys. Hail, Jimmy. They're holding our boys, Nuke says. So Betsy hums as the red starts coming in around the edges, and the colonel's voice stops slowing things down. Jumps out of the helicopter without a parachute or anything. Our boys. Betsy, she knows what to do. The program's all set. Stage 1. Napalm. She knows what to do. We just killed 3 guys. She keeps the count. 5. Red's kicking in, but good now. Adrenaline rush like a rocket blast. The drug. The red. I will check that out. 1 second. 32. Burning these guys to death. Our boys, our boys. He's screaming. And Willie D. I have Inglorious Rex 1 and 2, which I haven't had a chance to read yet. And I backed issue 3. And Willie D says, not a knock one else, I guess, not to knock on anyone else, but Inglorious Rex is one of the greatest stories. Not to knock anyone else, but Inglorious Rex is good. That's great to hear, man. I mean, it looks good. I've seen Shane's work over the years, and this looks like it's hands down the best I've seen. Hands down. It looks really, really good. All right. So Nuke then says, after he gets back from doing all that damage, give me a white. I guess to calm him down. It's red, white, and blue. Where next? You're not going to believe this, boy. You're hopping a civilian plane going stateside, New York. Order came down while you were mopping up, straight from the general. General seems to have gotten himself some new friends. New York, America, says Nuke. And so here we are in America. So glad you could take my call, Mr. Fisk. Just thought you'd be glad to know. Nuke, I mean Agent Simpson, well, he's en route, Mr. Fisk. Coming your way, just like you wanted. I have, this is a general. I have delivered the goods, Mr. Fisk, and well, I'm waiting for the goods you promised me. And here's the Kingpin. Pretty dramatic shot there. A little different than his usual stuff. Mascali. Interesting color, too. They only colored a few parts, left everything else white. It's a very interesting choice there, especially for colors back in the day. This is 40 years ago, 39 or 40 years ago. Kingpin says nuke, such a simple term, so direct. And now the Kingpin of crime will aim this nuke at the man he's learning to hate, the man he's learning to fear, Murdoch. And last issue, if you recall, Matt saved Karen, who's suffering withdrawal from her heroin habit. Karen Page tries to scream, but the only sound she can make is dry sucking. Sucking. She thinks of what she learned in college in science class, what she learned about black holes, stars that collapse in on themselves and stop shining, collapse until there's nothing left, less than nothing. Just a hole that sucks everything in and takes it nowhere. Just sucks and sucks. And she'd disappear, and it wouldn't matter. But his arms are strong, and he holds her here on Earth. Think of him. Think of Matt Murdock. Matt, they almost got married once before she went for the movies, before she left him to become a star. And the movies got worse and worse, and piece by piece, Karen Page sold her soul. The last piece she sold for a shot of heroin, a lousy fix for the lousy junkie she'd become. The last piece of her, Matt. She sold Matt out, told the pusher that Matt is Daredevil. And the pusher sold that to Matt's enemies, and they took Matt's home and career and everything. No, not everything. No, not everything. I gotta get this damn thing. That flap keeps coming down. Nothing, he said. Matt did. What you told him, what she'd done. Excuse me. I've lost nothing, Matt said, and laughed like a boy. Willie D says, Bosch, any new concepts or new IPs in the works? I have a handful of them. I'm currently working on a large project, a graphic novel adaptation of a novel. It'll be about 350 pages, over 200 pages for the last 2 years. I wrote the script. It took me about a year. I thought it would take less, but I had to make some edits, and even whenever I write my scripts, however I try to break them down and simplify them, each process that I go through, from the penciling, the inking, and so on, and coloring, lettering, and especially the lettering stage, the digital lettering, I draw everything by hand, pencil on paper. I ink on paper, and then I do digital lettering and coloring. So by the time the digital lettering comes, that's when I really bear down and try to get the best of whatever I wrote, make it better, make it the best as it possibly can be, simplify it, crystallize it, just make it better. So I have that, and I have two other stories. They're fantasy stories. I can't mention them now, but it's interesting. I never sought out to make fantasy stories, but that's the only way that these stories work, through fantasy. And so I got that current project I'm doing. I have my Pigman relaunch. By issue 3, it'll be all new material, and then it'll go to at least issue 6. And then from there, I have two other stories, ambitious stories. I got to say, it's gonna take a lot of thought, a lot of to develop them as they need to be. I got to put in a lot of thought in those, conceptually. It's something. It's interesting, and one of them will be a lot of research. The other one would just be my imagination and thinking back in time when I was a child. But yeah, I do. I have a number of them. Willie D. Hope to get them out at a certain point within a few years, and then just crowdfund them as well. I think that's the way to go. Thanks for asking. Let me continue. Nothing, he'd said, Matt did, when she told him what she'd done. I've lost nothing, Matt said, and laughed like a boy. I remember I was pissed off when I first read this. I was pissed. I thought she didn't deserve the kind of grace that she was getting from Matt. I thought a lot of things, and then over the years, I'm not saying I got soft, but I understand people are literally out of their minds when they do certain things. She's a junkie. It's a beast within her that requires that push, that fix. And she was not thinking clearly. It ravaged her life. So, Matt's a very graceful character. He's full of grace. Um, it's interesting also. You see Karen's face here. I don't know what it was, whether it was Comics Journal or somewhere where they showed the before and after. I think this is actually a more polished look than what Dave Mazzucchelli had originally drawn. I don't know where I saw it though. I was going to try to find it. I have all those old interview magazines with Frank Miller and Dave Mazzucchelli, and whether it was Comics Interview or Marvel Age or um, Fantastic Heroes. Is that what it was, guys? Fantastic Heroes, and then Comics Journal. But I remember seeing that this was different than what was originally published. That Mazzucchelli, someone had reworked her face, and that's rough looking there as it is, but it was even rougher. Pretty wild. I guess Marvel didn't want to. They wanted to appeal a little more, I guess. Whether they use the original one in this copy, I can't say. But anyway, pissed me off. It still does to some extent. But, it's a fictional story. It's Matt showing that he has, an abundance of grace. He's a good, decent man, very benevolent. He's willing to just say, okay, I get it. He lost his, his lawyer license. He lost his house. He got blown up. He almost got killed. He almost died on the streets. And we will see. Huh. Jimmy says to Willie D, I had an idea of a struggling metal singer, turns YouTuber, turns warehouse owner, turns state witness, and then turns to a puppeteer on YouTube. It may work. Wow. Yeah. That's a good breakdown. And then it says here, and Karen didn't understand, and Matt kissed her and held her and knows exactly what to say and when to make her eat and how to touch the muscles in her back to make her sleep. That's his senses, his crazy senses. He was a boy. It was before she met him. He was blinded by radiation or something, and his remaining senses became superhuman. She never told them about the senses. She never told them about the man. God and Country. Stan Lee presents God and Country by Frank Miller and Dave Mazzucchelli. Max Scheel, colors. Joe Rosen, letters. Ralph Macchio, editor. Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. The great Jim Shooter. He gets a lot of shit. The guy is an all-time great. All-time great. And on top of that, he liked Pigman, which was awesome. So cool. Okay. Let me get that stupid flap that keeps coming up here out. From the length of my entourage, you'd think I'm a visiting dignitary or a crook. This is Ben Urich talking, the reporter from the Daily Bugle, who knows that Matt is Daredevil, who's been gone through hell, had his hand broken, And then he was told that if he ever says the name Matt Murdock again, they're going to break his other hand, and so on. And he said, you know, fuck it. He says Matt Murdock. And now he's writing multiple, like a whole series against Kingpin, trying to get to the bottom of what he did to Matt Murdock. So he says here, I'm neither, he goes, from the length of my entourage, you'd think I'm a visiting dignitary or a crook. I'm neither. My name is Ben Urich. I'm a reporter. These days, I'm a reporter in the hot seat, investigating the city's top criminal, the Kingpin, and trying to stay alive all the while. Staying alive involves finding the Kingpin's enemy and my friend, a man named Matt Murdock, who has a lot of secrets and seems to have grown more, like where he is. So this is Ben Urich encountering Franklin Nelson, Foggy, Matt's best friend and former partner at their firm, at their law firm. Urich says, you've been close to Murdoch since college, haven't you, Mr. Nelson? Close as anybody, I guess. Look, I'll only talk if it's going to help Matt, Mr. Urich. I mean, suppose he doesn't want to be found. And Urich says, you think it's a good idea for a blind man to wander off alone? He goes, no, but Matt is no ordinary blind man. I know that, Nelson. Do you? Good writing there. He's in the know, and he's just curious if Foggy knows. And Foggy says, okay, Miss Urich, I'll trust you. Matt always spoke well of you, and that's good enough for me. All of those charges against him are false. And you can bet I'll have his appeal ready, just as soon as this whole mess gets untangled. But, well, ever since our law firm went under, and even before, Matt's been, well, I spoke with him. I mean, he phoned me after his house blew up, and he sounded very confused. He sounded crazy, Mr. Nelson. I've spoken with him myself. I wouldn't go so far as to say that. Matt's always been kind of high strung. I mean, you just can't always worry. I'm sure he'll be, look, let me show you what I've got worked up for the appeal. Of course, there's still a lot of evidence to, whoops. Darn it, I'm such a, where did you get these photos? Gloriana O'Brien, she's Matt's girlfriend? He never told me, but then he wouldn't know. Will you be seeing her anytime soon? Yeah, I'll be seeing her tonight. Ask her to call me, please. And then this is Gloriana O'Brien from Ireland, was Matt's girlfriend, and at the beginning of this story, she broke up with him on the phone. Said he wasn't being kind to her, and he was being a little nasty and very strange. And she got robbed, and she stayed with Frank, with Foggy, and they ended up hooking up, and they're together right now. I don't know if that's still going on. I haven't read Daredevil in years. I wouldn't know. Mark Waid tried to get in with some really, really bad stuff. I mean, really bad. I don't know. It hasn't been worth it for a while. Hey, John. So here's, it's not like she's some fine art gallery flirt looking to court the wine and cheese crowd and talk about her childhood as if it were worth the telling. She's just got eyes, is all. And things keep leaping out at her. Like that man there, so big and tough and just the same holding onto that jackhammer for dear life. Just leapt out and begged to be taken. It's almost robbery, thinks Gloriana O'Brien. That's very representational right there. Very representational from Max Kelly. Looks like he used a photo reference of someone, maybe his wife at the time, or give me a blue. So we heard Nuke asking for a red, a white, and now a blue. Give me a blue. And each one has a certain effect on him. Red is the most extreme one. That's when he goes to kill. Excuse me, sir, about that beer you ordered. We don't have the brand you asked for. It isn't made anymore. So we substituted, this brand. Where was it brewed? Milwaukee. Don't worry, boy. It's American. All right. All right. They've got this guy jacked up, man. He's an innocent victim. He was a willing soldier who was brainwashed clearly by these bad guys, savages. Now they're using him to do whatever, who knows what out there in the world, to the point where he gets into the clutches of the Kingpin to be used against Matt Murdock. So here's Kingpin drinking his tea. And the guy says, "Trouble, Mr. Fisk. It's your girl Lois. Since she was apprehended trying to murder Ben Urich's wife, she's been talking about you. The district attorney has agreed to reduced charges in exchange for her turning state's evidence. I'm afraid that not all. I'm afraid that's not all. Ever since Urich got on your case, he's been cozy with the DA, and now he's landed an interview with Lois." Kimmy says, "Commissioner, you will see to it that Officer Coogan is on duty at the time of the interview. That is all." Officer Coogan. That's one of the cops who was flanking Ben Urich in that scene before. "Mr. Fisk, about those pictures. Embarrassing, aren't they, Commissioner? Such an ordinary cocktail waitress. Your wife would be insulted. You need not worry, my friend. I will keep the photos safe. Quite safe." Yeah. And then, oh, Glory, I was counting on tonight. What? A new job? The Daily Bugle? No kidding. I guess Urich was serious. I didn't know you were. No, honey, I didn't mean anything by that. It's just that your photography never, I mean, you never talked about it. No, no, more like a hobby. Yes, I guess I do know now. Of course, I'm happy for you, honey. Well, I just wanted to talk to you. It's this job. Oh, for corporate work, it's okay, and the pay is great, but some of the work they do here, I'm not sure it's legitimate. He's unknowingly working for the Kingpin. Kingpin observed him defending Murdoch in court and said, "Yeah, I think this guy's pretty good. I'm going to put him in my employ." And then you got Matt, who grew a beard since he's been out of commission. He'd be up all night with her. It was early in the morning, and he bought a razor and was shaving. He was about to go to work. He actually likes the job he found when Karen fell asleep. It's a great shot here. She woke alone, but that's okay. Now, the worst is over. For me, it's over, she thinks. But Matt, what's he going through? What's he waiting for? Night after night, he keeps touching the costume and pacing and frowning like a little kid who has to stay after class. Why doesn't he just put the thing on and dance across the buildings? He's like a god when he does that. He's aching for it. We both changed, Matt. I used to worry when you did put it on, but now you're warm and sweet and strong, but there's something new, something cold and hard, something waiting, something frightening. He's still mad, she thinks, and sleeps. That's interesting. Interesting there. It all goes for the title of this, what ended up being collected as Born Again. Matt Murdock is being born again as his Daredevil. So this is a hell of a scene, guys. Hell of a scene. Great directing by Kelly. Just great. It's the city jail. They call it the Tombs. They have their reasons. Save your film glory. Location shots you can sell to tourists. Get the people and get the action. That's what stories are made of. You explained it well enough, Miss Urich. Shouldn't get testy with Urich, Glory. Jameson made him responsible for you. And Urich, he's a real loner. Doesn't even like having the cop along. Click. She's taking photos of these criminals, of these prisoners. Drives him crazy having me. But Jameson said he needs an associate. And I got just the right friends. That's What did the Kingpin call him again? Coogan. Coogan. I believe that is Coogan. Yeah. Ah, that's what it is. God damn it. The cop in there, and also the other guy. Blanders, that's his name. That's his ugly guy's name. Blanders. And the other cop is Coogan, the security guard. That would be a prison guard. And then you got Blanders saying, I'm no loner, Glory. She goes, you're close to losing that arm. And Ben Urich, Dilly Bugle, Hegerfors, Coogan, they know each other. Yeah, they are. Willie D. It's some. I mean, this is pre-digital coloring. Usually they sucked. All the old comics, I wish to some extent. I don't want that modern, too busy stuff, but I would love to see the old Kirby, FF, and all those comics, and Ditko and Spider-Man redone, recolored, a little more care and thought with it. And you got some interesting choices here also. It's not just the flat colors. You got some open white here, gold. You got a little different color here, and not just a pure blonde color. It's interesting. But here we go. So they go in. Coogan locks the door. Clack, click. Blanders is there. He's getting into his pocket, into his coat pocket. And Gloria is just clicking away her camera. Here's Lois, who says, Yorick, Lois. And then Hegerford says, don't have to lock it, Coogan. There's plenty of us. Coogan, what do you... Yorick says, what? Look at that guy's face, Blander's face. Look at that. This whole scene right here, it's just a great, great shot. I just love it. The whole setup here, look at that. Boom, boom, boom. And he shoots Lois right in the face. Blam! And what does Glory do? Clicks away. As Yorick told her, save your film, Glory. Location shots you can sell to tourists. Get the people and get the action. That's what stories are made of. And here she is. And this again, you got a few stories here, guys. You got Lois, who's threatening the Kingpin with selling him out. Selling him out, doing a good job, but only to save her ass, getting blown away. You have that guy loving it. Look at him with a grin. And you have Glory clicking away, and you have Yorick shocked out of his wits. And then you got Hegerfors. God damn it, he gets shot by Coogan, and he shoots Coogan right back. And then I guess it's Blanders gets up and shoots Hegerfors right in the head. And here's Glory again, shooting it all. And then all of a sudden, you have Ben Urich jumping the shooter, jumping Blanders. That's a heroic move, man. Again, I love it when you have these organic, really interesting moments from these side characters and supporting characters who do their own heroic acts. We saw that with Foggy a number of times so far. We see that with the Urich. He just attacks the guy, and if he doesn't, they're all dead. They're all dead. Has no choice. He's not a fighter. He's not a killer. He's just a reporter. But he has to do it. So he gets him, attacks him. A cop. It's just an older reporter who smokes a lot. Doesn't have great lungs. Doesn't have great power. And he takes him, gets that gun. Look at that acting, man, from Matt Kelly. Look at the movements. Look at the knuckles. Everything about it, man. Look at that. Grabbing his chin. Whoomp. She's clicking away. Whoomp. Click, click, click. And she stops. She looks at Urich. He just saved the day. He saved. Well, unfortunately, Hegerfors is killed. The two dirty cops are taken out, and the Kingpin's employee, former employee, who's in again, turns state's evidence against him. It's a hell of a scene, man. And look at this also, guys. Maz Kelly repeated the same angle, I believe it was. At least it looked like it. Okay. I don't think it was. I thought it was. Okay, it's not. It was a different angle on each one. Different perspective shot on each one. Okay. I thought it was repeated, but no. It's a great shot. And look at that look on York's face. Look at the inking also. It's like a cylinder, like radiating lines. Look at that. Even Glory, who's been shooting away, the one thing that stops her cold is seeing this reporter kill that rat bastard. But he had to. He had no choice. And then you have the Kingpin trying to turn this already brainwashed soldier against Jimmy says, question, were colorists rushed in the process of getting these books done monthly, or was the whole process drawing, inking, and writing? I don't know. They were the last ones to do it because they came after the letterer. They had to color around the lettering. I know that a lot of them, very, I guess, serviceable. They just laid down, the red on Spider-Man, the blue on Spider-Man. That's it. No shades, no. And then they got way too busy later on. They started adding yellow lines, yellow things on Spider-Man's suit on the red. It's like, no. But if they go back, you look at if you have the omnibus of Walt Simonson's Thor, they recolored every single issue. And it's fantastic. It's great. It doesn't have the kind of over texturizing that they do now. There's a term for it. There's a term for it that I don't, it's at the tip of my mind. But they don't overwork it. It's just right. If they could do that with Ditko's Spider-Man, with Kirby's FF, I mean, I'll get, whatever. I have the omnibus of all of, of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko's Spider-Man, even though the Kirby one would be too tough to have in one thing. It's over 102 issues. Where Stan Lee and Jack Kirby did it completely, consistently, 102 issues. It's crazy. Wild. So here we go. Here's a Kingpin talking to Nuke. Your predecessor, the first super soldier, faced simpler times than ours, my friend. He also redid his office, the Kingpin. You'll see it. Your predecessor, the first super soldier, Captain America, that's who he's referring to, faced simpler times than ours, my friend, and simpler wars. So much has changed. So much. We who love America, you sound like a Democrat. Democrats hate America. The Nazi-crats hate America. And they often say that they love it in order to try to pretend, try to fool idiots to think that they actually do. I remember this one idiot told me years ago, I said, that Barack Obama hates America. He never said that. I said, no, dummy. He wouldn't. He'd give the game away. He wouldn't be able to extend his power. Even idiots in the Democrat Party who voted for these savages would be like, what? You said you hate America? What? That would wake them up. Others would know that he hates America by his actions. And when he slips up, he says that we have to fundamentally change the country. Why would you fundamentally change something if you loved it, if it was good, if it was great? Why? Anyway, so here's a Kingpin making his pitch to Nuke like a dirty politician. So much we who love America are now surrounded by lying assassins and soft-hearted fools. We patriots, Kingpin, they laugh at us, my son. I am sorry. You remind me of my own son, a fine boy. He is a veteran. I shall be honest with you. There are many who oppose me. I am under constant scrutiny by the police. I am, in the strictest definition of the law, a criminal. There's a little hint of truth there. At least, we know he's a criminal, but he's trying to tell his lies through that and then get a little ounce of truth in there, but also diminish how bad of a criminal he is. I know this startles you, but as I said, so much has changed. America's enemies have grown so strong that our boys die in Asian jungles, and our people will not honor them. Nuke says, our boys. They used this guy's patriotism, drugged him up. It's terrible. If you take it seriously, it's terrible what they did to him. And then Kingpin embraces the flag. Look what he did to his office, guys. Look at this. Put it all in there, played it all up. He goes, and it tortures me that the noble concept of free enterprise, a criminal, talking about free enterprise, the crowning triumph of our forefathers, has been murdered by endless corrosive legislation. To simply keep some shadow of that dream alive, I must break the law. Excuse me. He's overwhelmed with emotion. Still, we are not alone, Nuke. There are others who believe enough, barely enough of us to keep the hope alive. We who decide such things have formed a proud trinity of state and military and business. We must have unity against the madness that surrounds us, against the infection of the American spirit. There are those who say that unity is conspiracy, that America is evil. I know what they say. I know what they say, says Nuke. Kingpin continues, and now a single man threatens to destroy what we have built. He moves against me, calls me a villain. I am not a villain, my son. I am a corporation in the conglomerate that is America, but his allies in the press. Nuke says, the press. Where is he? Hell's Kitchen. So here we are in Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen is aching muscles and growling stomachs, children's feet on broken glass, hopeless laughter echoing through an empty lot. Hell's Kitchen is where I was born and born again. That's the first time he referenced that line. Born and born again. The burgers sizzle and snap. The bacon pops on the griddle, nearly ready. The eggs, they're the best part. Over easy, hot seconds to get them just solid enough. Then flip them neatly, quickly. Then get them off while the yolk is still quivering, barely contained. Another day passes, another day of waiting. So here's Matt Murdock with his new job that Karen referenced a few pages ago. Making being the cook at this, family-run restaurant. Yeah. Egon the Dragoncock, he goes, you hear the same thing that the Kingpin was saying about America, how much he loves it, politicians. He goes, you hear the same thing from these woke creators working for the big two. They love the characters so much, but need to fundamentally change them 100%. They can't stand them. They always want to, it's like even a piece of shit, Warren Ellis, who was a good writer, even he was, not immune to this, where he made, in the last one, what was it called? The Batman's Funeral, I think, with, what's the guy who did the Ultimates? I forgot his name, the artist. Anyway, he did a comic with him, Batman, like 12 issue series, right? And you got Hale, Goody Two Shoes, and you got who do you have? You have Warren Ellis making Alfred bitching to Bruce in the Batcave how Bruce goes after these poor people. Stop going after poor people. That's a piece of shit, Warren Ellis talking. It's disgusting. Poor people? These are criminals. Doesn't matter who the fuck they are, rich or poor, they're criminals. That's who Batman goes after. Brian Hitch. Thanks, Egan. Brian Hitch. And it was well drawn, even though I don't know what he was doing with the mask. He tried to make it look realistic where the nose comes off like it does in a movie. It's like, Brian, you're not You're a goddamn cartoonist. You don't have to stick to this idea where realism to that point. It looks stupid. The nose was coming off way too far off his nose. Ridiculous. Because that's the way the movies go, so therefore you have to do it. You don't have to do that. What a dumb thing. It didn't do that for Adam West's mask. At least that part was good. With nose and it pop off way too far. It's ridiculous. But let me continue, guys. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. I got a good amount of eyeballs here, more than the last few, actually. Thank you. On YouTube, I'm not sure. I don't know how that's going. But so Matt is flipping some burgers at this place to get a job, and he can do it beautifully to the point where this place was a shithole, as referenced by as Ben Urich said. He goes, "Oh, it's great because no one's here, because the food's so bad." He just got coffee, but now it's packed. Why? Because there's a new cook in town, and he knows exactly how to make the perfect burgers and eggs and so on because he can sense the perfect moment to flip them and so on. And he tells his new employer says, "Quitting time, Red. See you in the morning." And Matt says, "Give the burgers about 10 more seconds and they'll be perfect." Good crowd tonight. That cough, Ben. He hears Ben. He sounds like he's in shock. And his employer says, "You look thin, Red. Take this home and you never had such cobbler." And then here's Ben, Glory, and I guess another cop. I guess so, yeah. "I come here to write. Food's terrible. Still nobody's ever here." "It looks pretty crowded to me." "Terrible neighborhood," says Glory. "Hell's Kitchen, right. Lousy neighborhood. Dangerous. But Matt was born here and did I, did I really kill that man? You saved our lives, man." "Best burger I ever had," the cop says. I love that because he's in the middle of his conversation. He goes, "Did I really kill that man?" And Glory's there to support him and says, "You saved our lives, Ben." Even though she was shaken, she understood. This guy went above and beyond and killed that guy. It's not something he does, clearly, but you want to live, you got to kill that rat bastard. And he did. Awesome. All right, guys. Let me keep going. So, can't help you yet, Ben. So this is a direct narration now in Matt's mind because sometimes it's Frank Miller, his narration, the the over voice on that. "Can't help you yet, Ben. Can't be seen with anyone until that sound." Checked Matt's medical records and found something funny. It's about his mother. Matt always said she died giving birth to him, but Blanders, I really killed him. Yurick's still like, shaking. Hey man, he's a civilian. It's let me tell you guys something. I don't think I've talked about this, but I'm not ashamed about it. It's something that it's pretty wild. About 2 weeks after the shooting in Garland, where the two jihadists who came to mass murder us got their heads blown off. Lucky for us, it was an intense time. I couldn't sleep for a little bit. I was walking my dog, and 2 weeks later, and I'm getting the shakes, and I'm starting to sweat. And I'm paranoid as hell. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I think I had like a PTSD, a panic attack or something. Never had that before in my life. It was very strange, and I think again, not only did they try to murder us, right? The death threats came so hard. It's the first time I ever got in touch with the FBI. Contacted two of them. Again, we know that the rank and file are better than their superiors. We know that. Um, One guy who I was lucky enough to make contact with, who was my go-to guy at the FBI, CARE, the Council of American and Islamic Relations, a piece of shit stealth jihadists, hated him. So I said, then you're the guy. If they hate you, that means you've been doing your job, hunting these terrorists, these jihadists. So he's a good man. But yeah, something about that. So a part of me, to a little extent, I understand Ben, he's overwhelmed by this. No, I didn't kill it. I didn't end up killing them. The cop did. Blew their heads off. They got a shot off. They shot another cop's ankle. But it's an intense thing, and it's just, walking overwhelmed, paranoid, looking over my shoulder, sweating. And my dog, as far as I know, he didn't really notice. He just kept walking. But yeah, I remember that was very, very strange. Never felt it before or since. Anyway, just want to share that. Um, if you don't know, I was the winner of the Muhammad Cartoon Contest, and at the event that was advertised clearly, it was in media. Got wind of it, and two savages drove to Texas where the event was from Arizona. And when they got there, their FBI contact, who was dressed in Islamic garb, drove off as soon as they got out of the car. Shots flying, gunfire. The rat bastard from the FBI left, who was telling them in text, tear up Texas. Now those scum were going to do what they're going to do. They planned to do the Super Bowl. They planned to blow that up and then they said, nah, it's probably too hard of a target. So they heard about our, the Muhammad Cartoon Contest that the winner will be announced on a certain date. It was May 3rd, 2015. And so at some point between the Super Bowl and that, they were made contact with the FBI. And there was an FBI agent again. FBI agent dressed in Islamic garb at the event drove off as soon as the terrorists came in there. He was in a car. He drove off. He got arrested down the road. They shut down everything. There was no flights. The streets were shut down. We had actually a police escort to take us wherever we had to go. I couldn't get back on my flight that night. We ended up going to Benihana's, I think, that night, and it was just intense as fuck. What a night! You go there to celebrate free speech. You want to defy these scumbags, and they're there, right there, to murder you. And people say, "Well, of course. What do you expect?" It's like, what do you expect? I expect to be a free man in America and draw whatever the fuck I want. That's what I expect. You know. Anyway, thanks for indulging me, guys. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it. Jimmy, thanks me for sharing that. Appreciate it. So here we go. Great shot of Matt, because there, he says that sound. He goes, "That's no police helicopter." He looks up. It's a great shot, well drawn. And then he got the stinking kingpin. The clue was slim indeed. The words of a third-rate thug who claims he had the pleasure of stabbing Murdoch some days past. Turk. It would be a logical hiding place. It holds many of the lost and nameless. It was his home as a boy. Yes, Murdoch will reveal himself when Hell's Kitchen burns. It's so fitting, man. Hell's Kitchen. He wants to burn it up, so the devil will come out. All these, our boys, XSS. He goes, yes, Murdoch will reveal himself when Hell's Kitchen burns. So here's the colonel. Skip the napalm, boy. Those are Americans. Just mess things up. Little property damage can go a long way. We're bringing you in low. Low. To hear the street, the motor, roaring, dust and dirt and blowing garbage, coughing, startled gasp and angry shout, something human, hisses. Our boys. Phew. Bracka, 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 bracka. 3, no, it's 4 blocks away. Bullets cut through flesh and bone. He's a wild guy. He's on drugs, and the colonel told him, skip the napalm, boy. Those are Americans. Just mess things up. A little property damage can go a long way. Unfortunately, he's unleashed here, and he's killing Americans. Bullets cut through flesh and bone. A woman holds her baby close and hears him gurgle. Jesus, a lung collapses. 3 blocks now. A man chokes out half a name and dies. From the gun, a rocket. Boom! A wino cries to God, "Get your camera." Yorick says, "That diner is knocked out." Shoots a missile into the air. Another rocket headed for Karen. Boom! Where they were staying. Matt and Karen. "Moving up, boy. Got company." "One more." And Karen says, "Matt, am I dying?" "No, no, honey. Everything important in you is safe." "Safe. I kept it safe for you, Matt. Everything important in you is safe." Is he alluding to something here? You know? Is he alluding to maybe something, maybe a fetus, maybe pregnant? I don't know. How much time has passed since they reconnected? I don't know. I always thought that. I know that Miller was to continue this series, but this is his second to last issue. This was his second to last issue of Daredevil, and then years later he came out with Man Without Fear, and I think that's it. But he was supposed to do a two-part story with Walt Simonson drawing, and I believe it was about, I believe so, about sex traffickers and children. I might be mistaken, but he picked that up actually in Daredevil Man Without Fear and used that as a backstory with the Kingpin. I mean, it just showed you the depravity of the Kingpin, how, and once you know that, it's like, yeah, he's a criminal, all that, but he goes anywhere and everywhere. He's a scum, a scum of the earth. No matter how great a villain he is, I mean, and he is a great villain, he's pure scum, and you want to see him get defeated. SXS says this issue was very Dark Knight Returns Superman. What do you mean, SXS? You mean government, controlled Superman? A government controlled nuke? So here, Karen says, "Safe, I kept it safe for you." Goes to kiss her. I wonder why he did that. Kelly made it black around their mouths. Interesting. I just don't know. I thought it was soot at first, but then you realize it's not. I thought I'd have to be a lot more patient than this, Kingpin. I thought I'd have to wait for weeks for you to get sloppy like you did with my house. Enemy fire, a chopper. Jeez, the pilot screams an alert. The gunner goes to his death with a curse. Two lovers sleep quietly. The screaming starts from everywhere. He passes close. Thwack! Knocks him right in the head, right on the ear. Spack! Fap! And what does Nuke say? "Give me a red." Great, great ending of this issue. And then you got this incredible shot of Daredevil by Matt Kelly, which ended up being the cover of the recent larger version of the Daredevil Born Again, which came out months ago. I think it came out November, December. Great, great, great story, guys. Great story. SXS says, yeah, the U.S. military critique themes gave me a similar vibe. Yeah. I can go on, but I want this to be a 6-part series, each individual issue. But you guys want to shoot me some questions or have a little discussion here? Let's go for it. Let me know. Egon the Dragoncock, it really is. It's epic. It's so well drawn. It's very representational and stylized at the same time. And I love that hand. Love it. You see the little indentations on the gloves. You got the in silhouette. It's not full silhouette, but you see that face. It's just fantastic. Got those rough, dry brush marks there. So good. And look at that, man. Look what we got coming. It's fantastic. Great color, by the way. Very, very simple. But if you notice, they're messing around a little. I put a little orange on there, put little different hues of blue on the Captain America. This is, early on, but you got a little more interesting color choices here in mainstream comics. You got two colors on Nuke there, and then you got underneath the white, different green from his pants. That wouldn't have done that years ago. It would have been the same color. And then you have this white. It's great choice. Leave it open. Leave the white in. That's the heat of the explosion. The center, the white hot center. Awesome. Yeah, guys. So if you want to chat a little, we can just do that. I got a good number of eyeballs here. So let me know, guys. We do that. And guys, also, if you can, check out my. I'm gonna cut this off. Here's my campaign, guys. My Pigman campaign. If you haven't backed it, please consider backing it, guys. I would really appreciate it. Jimmy asks, is a new Daredevil TV show any good? It is. It is. All the actors are back. They're all good. Um, it's better than I think it would have been. They had filmed a handful of episodes. I think 8, if I'm not mistaken, before they shut it down production, fired the writers, and restarted. Like really, it's born again, and it is good. I love the Daredevil series, the Netflix one. I thought it was great, and this is good. It's quality. SXS says, saw your whip work in progress on X. Is that for Pigment number 3? No, that's from the project I've been doing for the last 2 years. I was able to knock out a good, amount of panels and a few pages today, actually. I got this thing. I have to produce 3 pages before I do my streams. And my pages are pretty, I don't know. I would say sparse, but not really. I mean, I'm putting in everything that I require, and then of course I'll beautify and polish it up later on in the ink stage, and that's when I transfer all my roughs into the huge sheets that I have. Also, then I could really work out the fine detail. But for now, it's everything's there. It's interesting. My first book, I did like 5, 6, 7 different other layouts. I always edited, always make it better. Pigman, less so. I'm a little more confident what I'm putting down. This one, I don't know. As far as I know, I'm going to keep the bulk of the work that I'm doing. Just when I transfer, I can just make it better. Just make it better. So yeah, guys, I just want to pitch my Pigman. I got 238 backers, $15,489. Thank you very much, guys, to every single one of you who backed it. If you haven't, consider backing it, guys. It's truly unlike any. I don't understand. One second, guys. Oops. Excuse me. One second, guys. Thank you very much, Gonza. Freites. I hope I got that right. Super chat ARS 500 from Gonza Freites. Shout out to Daredevil and my Christian bros. Shout out, Gonza. I'm an atheist. I left Islam, and that was it for me. But I really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for super chat. Much appreciated. Yeah, Daredevil. I think it was Miller who. I think it was Miller who made Matt Murdock Catholic. I think so. I don't know 100%, but I think he did. Maybe it was maybe hinted at years before, but he made it a real staple of his character. And even being atheist, I wasn't offended by it. I'm not offended by Christian characters, or the founding fathers were deists. They believe in God. The bulk of them. Some were actually Christians, but the point is, you know I'm not one of these militant atheists who rejects all people because of their religion. That's bullshit. I have good friends who are Christian, Jews, and I have even, decent Muslim cousins who still every so often contact me. And, you know, let's just say they might not read my work, they might not support it, but they know I'm good. They know me ever since we were kids. So it's interesting. But they still consider themselves Muslim. How Muslim? I always mock them because I tell them, I read your holy book. You never did. I read it and reread it. I've been going against it, and at least read it, guys. At least if you're going to support it, at least read it. Thanks again, Gonza. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Egon the Dragon Cock says, "When are we going to hear about this project?" It's funny. I mentioned it on an old trash cast. Um, I mentioned it maybe in one of my live streams. I'm not going to until it's announced officially. There's a reason why. It's exciting as hell. It's a dream project, flat out dream project. When I was, years ago, I thought about, for some reason, the book that I'm adapting now, I thought about making that into an animated film. Why? I don't know. I'm not an animator. I have no desire to become an animator. But I saw it as an animated film. And it'll be interesting because um, if all works out, it could be the basis for an animated version, my adaptation, my graphic novel adaptation. So I will announce it, Egon, when I think, well, when they announce it, when those who are paying me announce it, when those who hired me, then I will make the most of it, and I will talk to them about doing certain ways to promote it. I'm starting to understand this aspect of that. It's like I was always, just sending emails to my email list. That's how I got people to know about my work. But now it's a different thing with crowdfunding. So I'm curious how that might take form with this project. We'll see. SXS says, "Back, Pigman, my man. I backed with Table for One. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. So let me do a pitch here, and then guys, ask away. I'll be here for a bit. Thanks, reader. Always appreciate it. I'm gonna do the next part of the Daredevil Born Again. Uh, I don't know, soon. One second. Jimmy says to SXS, "You're gonna love Table for One. That book moved me. Thank you very much, Jimmy. Appreciate it, man. Um, People seem to like it. I remember getting letters 21 years ago when I first released that, from Israel, from France, from Italy, from others, and handwritten letters. Sometimes it's like, wow, they really liked it. It's just really, really cool. You do your work and you hope it has some impact, and let people tell you so. It's like, oh, okay, it was really worth the whole process. I mean, it's awesome." SXS says, "What made you decide to be an atheist?" I mean, what made me decide to leave Islam is more like it, and leave religion, because I got to say, Islam, I mean, I know that people sometimes leave Islam and become Christians. Even the apostate prophet, I believe, became a Christian recently after years of being atheist after leaving Islam. Left Islam, I think, a decade ago. He's been an atheist for 10 years now. He's a Christian. Um, there's something about Islam that makes you, at least made me, reject religion and everything. It really did. And not morality, not truth. I always was an honest kid. I always loved truth. I always followed it to wherever it led. That's what led me out of Islam, if you think about it. My love of truth and my hatred of lies, and my I wanted to be good. I want to be a good kid. I want to be a good person. And I smelled something about Islam and the people around me. The dishonesty was overwhelming. about nothing, about everything. The smallest lies, the biggest lies, just lies. Uh, Terrible. And it got me, to really, really hate lies and liars. It really did. I was in my mid-teens. I said, nah, this is not for me. I started to take morality seriously, started to really seek out things, other ideas, and that's when I just phased out. It wasn't a hard break, like I'm leaving this evil thing. It just was, to me, it was just a dishonest thing. And then, of course, you hear about the attacks and stuff that they were happening, but you didn't know too much about them. Hey, Mikey Getz, appreciate it. How are you doing? What's up with you? Doing well. Thanks being here, guys. Appreciate it. I'm gonna make my pitch here. But yeah, I just wanted to mention the SXS. So it wasn't the point that I decided I will be an atheist. Just I left um, Islam and therefore religion. But I never left, you know, my love of truth, my love of morality, doing the right thing. And I gotta say, I think, I, don't- what was it? It was a conversation that Ethan was having with someone, or just amongst the chat, about how some people get their morality from superheroes, and he was dismissing it. And in general, that might be true. But I gotta say this: looking at those superheroes when I was reading them as a kid, that was something different than what I was being taught about goodness, good versus evil, God versus devil, and all that, right? And it did clearly have an impact on me. Good people doing good things, and it wasn't the selflessness that appealed to me. And later, I became conscious of that, especially reading Ayn Rand. It was the fact that these people, and guys, there's one thing about the selflessness. I had that one episode here about selflessness versus to be selfish, right? Selfishness versus selflessness. You know, it's not so cut and dried as people like to believe. Altruism can become dangerous as hell. Dangerous as hell. And I think at the core, it's rotten to the core because of it's all about others, otherism. Me, go to hell. It's all about others. That's dangerous as hell. What that does is let people let themselves go in many ways, morally, on a physical level, on an honesty level, right? They don't mean shit. So if I don't mean shit, if everyone else means everything, so I don't matter. Okay, I'll try to, and that can't go well for anyone or society when everything is about others. And I'm not saying the overabundance of, when they say narcissism, loving yourself, that's not what we're talking about here, about selfishness, about rational selfishness. Your rational selfishness encompasses your values, your friends, your family, the people you love, the things you love, your country, and so on, the world. It's not that fuck the world, fuck everyone. It's all about me. That's stupid. That's retarded. That's um, that's the cartoon version of selfishness that people like to believe. It's either everyone matters, or that's it, or you matter at the expense of everyone else. No, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't. So we can get into the conversation, but yeah, it's just not that way. It's um, it's a whole it's very complex if you really think about it, as Ayn Rand did. Ayn Rand was the one who discovered that the concept of altruism as evil. Evil. I know we're always told that's what the ideal is. It's not. It's not. If everyone matters but you don't, that's shit. That's shit. And what ends up happening is that you don't give a shit for yourself, and how the fuck can you care for anyone else? You can't. You really can't. Anyway, let me pitch Pigman. Anyone who hasn't gotten it, I know there are eyeballs here, people who are listening right now who haven't gotten it. Let's see if I can convince you to back it. Pigman number one: the Islamic background of twins comes to the forefront of their lives on 9/11, which is echoed by the comic book within Pigman vs. Super Jihad. About myself a little: Eisner Award nominee, debuted my first book, Table for One, in 2004. I created Pigman not long after 9/11, and he appears in my comics and books. I've written, drawn 7 books. I've written articles and have drawn cartoons for Breitbart, PJ Media, Jihad Watch, Front Page Magazine, the Limbo Letter. Egon the Dragoncock says, dealing in absolutes is really a road to hell. That's bullshit. That's what we're told. It's absolute bullshit. Truth is truth. Good is good. Evil is evil. And sometimes it's not clear. But your attempt to find that clarity is not evil. It's not a road to evil. You need to know who you're dealing with. You need to know who you're dealing with. One thing about free speech is you get these rats on Twitter, on X, telling us exactly who they are. I like that. I want to know who these scumbags are. And I want to be very, very clear about it. I know Lucas with his, Lucas is not a philosopher. He's a filmmaker. So he'll put stupid things like, you know, only a Sith deals with in absolutes. That's just bullshit. It's just stupid. That's why, think about this also. If the Jedi dealt in actual absolutes, which everyone does deal in absolutes, whether they deny it or not, they wouldn't have got their ass kicked and wiped out by the Sith. Think about that, guys. If they actually believed in true good versus evil, in truth, they wouldn't have been as stupid as they were to collapse in the face of these two, the Emperor and his army and his, acolyte, or whatever you call him, I guess, Vader. If they were a little more determined to cut through the bullshit and get to the truth and be clear about who was good and who was evil, they wouldn't be so confused. Remember them? I don't know. I sent something. It's like, yeah. That's bullshit. So I reject that completely. This idea that dealing in absolutes is really a road to hell. It's not. It's a road to clarity. It really is. It's a road to clarity. That's what you want. You want to know who you're dealing with. Good, evil, mediocre. You want to know. You want to be clear on these things. About the major things, you have to be clear. Other things, you can get to arguments about certain things. Okay, you can have some people who are somewhat, mostly good, but doing some bad. Okay, I get it. Compromise people, you see them every day. I'm talking about evil. You have to be able to recognize it and identify it as such. That's why I'm very clear about communism is evil. Islam is evil. There's nothing, wobbly about that. You have to be absolute about that. You have to be. Look what happens to those who aren't. They get run over by them. Run over. Egon the Dragoncock says, I'm more thinking like convert or die, or how you need to totally agree with leftists in order. See, that's different. And that's not absolutism. That's just evil. They're evil. That's not absolutism. They're evil and they want you to submit to their evil. So that's not absolutism on their part. Again, George Lucas, he's a filmmaker. He's not a philosopher. He's not a thinker. He's really not. You ever hear him in interviews? You ever hear him talk about Barack Obama? Like we should give him gifts, like he's a king? He's a dummy. He really is. And he also called like the Star Wars, that was a Vietnam War. What? What? You mean the rebels were the commies and what? The Empire's America? Retarded. Just dumb. So on that level, Egon the Dragoncock, yeah. But that's not absolutism. That's just evil. They want to force you to submit to their evil. And it's not like, if you don't agree with us, no. They're evil. Their ideas are shit. That's why they have to try to force us to agree with them. That's why they want to obliterate all other ideas except theirs. Muslims want to do that. Leftists want to do that. It's not that they're absolutists, because they are subjectively good, objectively evil. They tell themselves every day how good they are because they're evil. And they have to punch themselves up like that. I'm good. And they're evil. My book says so, and so on. It's just, so yeah, Egon, it's like, I get it. And I don't mean to cut your head off about that. I'm very, very passionate about these things, about these ideas where people bring up altruism. It's great. It's bullshit. It's not great. It's not an ideal. And then they call it like poisonous altruism. It's like, yeah, suicidal altruism, it is suicidal by its nature. Meaning, you can't be a little altruistic. Altruism is altruism. Fuck me, everyone else matters. That's the end bottom line of it. It's not like doing good for others, it's doing good for others as a way of life, to its logical extreme. That's what it is. You don't matter, everyone else does. That's terrible. And then, of course, on the other side, fuck everyone and everything, only I matter. That's stupid. But that's their caricature of what is selfish. And again, the rationally selfish people, and their self-interest encompasses their loved ones, their friends, their family, their values, their country, and so on. It expands to that level. It's not this limited little thing that you want to, hold to yourself. SXS says dark side equals bad is an absolute, aka the whole purpose of the original trilogy. Dark side equals bad is absolute. Yeah, I mean, again, when people say there are no absolutes, what are they saying? They're stating an absolute, are they not? I think Rand wrote that, and Atlas Shrugged. I think maybe one of the characters mocked someone over that. There are no absolutes isn't absolute. Isn't absolute, it's a statement of absolutism. So yeah, I think it's important for us to recognize evil, and not fuck around with it, and not give it a chance to take us out. The dumb Jedi were like, yeah, I sent something. Years went by, guys. The Emperor was having his way with them, and they're like, I sent something. Mace Windu and Yoda. It's like, you guys suck. You guys fucking suck. You let your entire world crumble because you weren't absolutists about good and evil. Because you were, a little wobbly about those things. You were not sound in your own goodness, in your own worth. Just stupid. All civilizations who go to hell, that's their problem. It's not that they get invaded by these invaders, it's that they get invaded intellectually in their own mind to undermine their own self-worth, that they believe that they're not worth fighting for. That's why civilizations really go down. And we have, a movement inside America, the left, who wants to do that to the country. They can't stand America. They hate it. Everything that's happening that's good right now, they can't stand. Everything. And they're becoming terrorists again, the left. That's their natural reaction to losing. They become terrorists. Leftists are flat out communists. Grey Wolf, they are. They are. And we got to start calling them that. We pussyfoot around, right? That piece of shit communist, Bernie Sanders. I'm a democratic socialist. You're a goddamn communist. That's what you are. You had your honeymoon in the USSR. You're a commie. But he knows, he's like, I can't call myself a commie yet. That's the thing about the communist America. They're like Obama and all these rats. They're like, guys, we can't give up the game completely. We have to pretend that we love America and we're not commies. We have to mock those who call us commies. We have to. We can't give it up. It's like Muslims who are for jihad, but no, I'm not for that. They're lying. They're lying. The bulk of them are. The vast majority of Muslims support Hamas. They don't have to act on it, but they support it. That's evil enough. SXS says George Lucas is a hippie. Absolutely. No doubt about it. He is. He's of that generation, he was, I guess he didn't go to, smoking weed and doing drugs, but he is very childish in his morality. Very, very childish. Yeah. Breadlines are a good thing. And Bernie Sanders, Bernie Pander's a piece of shit. Scumbag. So let me get my pitch going, guys. 1 second. Okay. So I have 238 backers. I have $15,489, guys. Thank you very much to everyone who backed it. And again, if you're here, check it out. I got 5 different covers. Again, this story is it's written, pencil, ink, letter, colored, and published by me. It'll be 60 plus pages of a story that takes on the Islamic enemy and its leftist allies, and some cowards on the right as well, as you'll see. This is a different kind of war comic: culture war, political war, philosophical war, media war, brothers at war, and war on the battlefield. Recovered Muslims versus born again Muslims. The recovered Muslims are Killian Duke. These twins are loosely based on me, Albanian Muslim background. The question I ask is, what if I became a full-blown Muslim? What if I became a born-again Muslim and took it deadly seriously? Naturally, what would I become? A jihadist. And then also this part, what if I left completely and became a recovered Muslim, which is me? He's my stand-in. He's my self-insert, whatever you want to call it, guys. I don't care. I don't shy from it. I thought it was a good way to show also that Islam is an ideology. It's a religion. It's not a race. Every time you criticize Islam, you call it racist. White guys can be Muslim as well. If you can convert to it, if you can be born into it, it's not a race. And this is the recovered Muslims on this side. Killian Duke and his creation within a book, Pigman comic book, versus Super Jihad, who's an echo of Salam Duka. Salam means peace in Islam. It's an ironic name, clearly. Egon the Dragcock says, when I lived in Seattle, they elected a card-carrying member of the Communist Party to the city council. It was a disaster. Yeah. It's like putting poison in something. It's going to destroy everything around it. It can do no good. It's all bad. You cannot coexist with evil. You cannot have freedom-loving Americans and communists. It's impossible. It's inevitable that this will become worse for the left if they become rational. They won't. They can't. They will still try. And again, now they're blowing up cars and burning them and scratching them. And, because what? Because Ilan's a Nazi? Ilan is not a Nazi. Nazis were leftists. They were National Socialists. Hitler was a leftist. I know some idiots on the right perpetuate the big lie that the left, like Tucker Carlson the other day, the idiot who, this is how stupid he is. With that, first of all, no man cackles and giggles the way he does. No man does that. No man. No self-respecting man can do that. He does that. Some idiot called it authentic. That's authentic? No. That's as worse. That's as bad as Kamala, if not worse. He said something all day where his friend, this leader, I think a South American country, he's a right-wing authoritarian, right? And he goes, yeah, we all reject, Nazism, killing Jews. Yeah, it's really bad, right? He does it in a very glib way where, he doesn't think it's bad. Why do I know that? What do you say about October 7th? Nothing. He was asked about it. He goes, I'm America first, man. You can't comment and say it was a horrific attack on human beings. You can't say that. He didn't say that. And ever since, he's been going to Islamic countries, left and right, guys. He's traveled the world. Mr. America First has traveled the world. He was asked about 10/7. He didn't give his opinion on 10/7. The only thing he said was, I was shocked at how emotional Americans got. It's like, you're not American? Weren't you shocked at seeing mass rape and mass murder, over 1,000 people slaughtered, babies kidnapped and murdered? Are you a human being, piece of shit? Are you? And then he goes to Moscow. This is greater than any state in America. That's a propagandist. Now he's in the Islamic world, in Saudi Arabia, the UAE. He's traveling all over there and talking up Islam and talking up trashing America. This is not a good guy. He's a piece of shit. And again, he said something about Hitler like, yeah, we all hate that aspect. As in, we all hate the Jew killing stuff. He doesn't. And what he's saying is that outside of Jew killing, Hitler was pretty good. That's what he's saying, guys. You got to read between the lines. You can't take people's words. They're going to be, they're going to try to manipulate you. He might as well be a leftist. He hates capitalism, has trashed it for years. Listen to him on capitalism, trashes it. And I hate this idea. Even the idiot, Bannon, Steve Bannon says, state capitalism, that's bad. It's like, that's not capitalism, dummy. There's no such thing as state capitalism. That's not capitalism. That's government intervention. That's not capitalism anymore. I hate these, and they go left in a lot of ways. I think Bannon said that his favorite president was FDR. That's sick. F FDR. He was a commie. His whole crew were packed of commies. They're the ones who truly destroyed the country. They shoved it far left as it can go at that time. That piece of shit. Anyway, any more comments, guys? I'm going on a little tangent here, but I want to pitch Pigman. This is when Pigman first lays eyes on Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden is shot on the back. It hurts like hell. He has a bulletproof suit, but it hurts. He turns around and he goes, "You." And then Osama bin Laden says, "I'll shoot. Don't touch me." He thinks he's dealing with someone who wants to bring him to justice. How can he bring this guy to justice? I think Reacher the old days said something on the new season. Someone said, he'll get what he deserves. He'll get justice. He goes, justice. He goes, he'll get a meal. He'll get food. He'll get life. No. He deserves far. He goes, how about what happened to his victims? They're dead. He slaughtered them in heinous ways. So yeah, here's my preview. I got a 9-page preview, guys, of my comic. Yes, he is. And to Steve Bannon as well. I tell you something about Steve Bannon, who also, Bannon, right? That dummy, always talks up the left. He says, you got to respect them. You got to respect them. Yeah, I respect them. They sent you in jail, you dumb fuck. You respect them? I respect them, right? They're smart. It seems like he's envious of the fact that they can get away with what they can. I think he wants to get away with some stuff. That's what I think. He's also pushing the idea that Trump can run again in 2028. That's stupid. That's dumb. He'll be 82 years old. I want Trump kick ass in 4 years, as much as you possibly can, and then truly take a good, well-deserved break with your family, with your wife, and with your children. You'll be in your 80s at that point. It's time. So just check out. Truly spend time with your family. I wouldn't want him doing that. And I don't know how it can be done anyway. It's just Bannon just trying to troll, I guess. He's unserious. Very unserious. So he praises the left, right? Calls them smart. They're so smart. No, they're not. If they were smart, they wouldn't be leftists, you dumb fuck. What an idiot. I can't stand him. I listened to him again after he was released from prison. I felt like I owed him that. The guy was, railroaded into prison. And so I listened to maybe 2 weeks. I was out, and I'm out. I can't stand him. And now he's going after Ilan, like Ilan's the worst guy in the world. He wants to see him wiped out from the administration. It's like, Ilan has done more than you ever did, dummy. What are you talking about? And you got to credit Ilan more from where he came from to end up being where he is now. A patriot, a true believer in this cause to save America. And you got this idiot presuming to judge Ilan as evil. No, Bannon. Keep drinking, Bannon. Go keep drinking. We know you're a lush. We know you hit the sauce really hard. Look at you with your red face. Can't stand it. Let me just read this, guys, about this campaign. When 9/11 hit, my Muslim background came to the forefront of my life, and I knew I would respond to the atrocity with my art. So I thought about my Muslim background, what we were taught to hate, and I came up with the idea of Pigman. We grew up hating the pig. If there was a pig on the television, my mom recoiled from it. Oh, if a cousin bought the wrong bologna, meaning pork bologna, got their asses kicked. So, it's so funny to me that when Muslims try to say, I don't care for the pig. I don't care. I'm not offended. It's like, yeah, you are. Would you eat bacon? No. If he thought he ate bacon, he would act like it's the end of the world. I love when they try to pretend that they're not disgusted by the pig. I love that. It's such a lie. It's amazing what they're. they're as dishonest in general as the left. Anyway, so I came up with the idea of Pigman as he's the last thing in the world that the Islamic community would want to face. An ex-Muslim who's big, ruthless, and who wears pigskin leather to exploit their bigotry. And then there's a story within a story of twin brothers, one a recovered Muslim, one a born-again Muslim. The recovered Muslim, Killian Duke, is the cartoonist behind the Pigman comic book, and the born-again Muslim, Salam Duka, becomes his archenemy, echoing Pigman's archenemy, Super Jihad. If this sounds and looks interesting to you, I can move on to Pigman number 2 and further. I'd say, yeah, Egon. I think Bannon is jealous. Bannon is on the outs. He's not part of the administration. He's not part of the White House. He's not part of Trump's crew. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. He fancies himself to be this mover and shaker. It's like, yeah, to a certain extent. You are, to a certain extent. But he overshoots. He overthinks the fact that of his own power. Trump, he called him sloppy. He called him something. He trashed him a little while back. Then he pardoned him, and he was maybe at the inauguration or somewhere, but he's on the outside looking in, and it probably kills him. He fancies himself as being the reason that Trump won. It's not, you're not, but keep telling yourself that, and also keep blowing the left the way you do. I can't stand that. They're so smart. They're so, no, they're not. Again, if they were, they wouldn't be leftists. They wouldn't be communists. Dummy. Why praise them and then why go after Elon and call him evil? Elon Musk evil? No, you're evil, dummy. Can't stand it. And now some details about Pigman number 1. This is a relaunch of my longtime series, The Infidel, featuring Pigman. And guys, let me just say this. Here's my ultimate pitch here. Here's my ultimate pitch on a Pigman. If you haven't backed it, I would love it if you back it. I want more, as many backers as I can get. There's no comic book like it out there. It's a fact. My friends sometimes tell me, hey, man, you know that you're the only one doing this? I'm like, yeah. I don't think about it too much, but yeah. This comic not only takes on the jihad, Frank Miller took on a very narrow way the jihad. He took on Al-Qaeda and Holy Terror. The rest of it sucked. I take on Islam, the ideology, the Islamic, how would I call it? Is a term I used a while back. I don't like using any kind of terms like radical Islam stuff as bullshit. Organized Islam is what Pigman, what Killian go after. The organized Islam, as in Islam is bad as such. When it's organized, it's even worse. And I'm talking about from the stealth jihadists in America, from the bloggers, from those who promote Islam in entertainment, like Marvel's doing, Disney, with their Muslim superhero. They keep shoving her down our throats every chance they get. There was a new cover someone released the other day, and she's on there like prominently. She sucks. Terrible character. And she's not even Muslim. She's Muslim in name only. But so yeah, it's organized Islam. So I take it on culturally, politically, ideologically, religiously, in all ways, in all of our institutions. And in the book, it's a pretty sprawling, attempt to take this down in comic book form. And so yeah, so I try to take it on as hard and as honest as I can with all the knowledge that I arm myself. I mean, I overread for this book. I like dozens and dozens of books, thousands of articles without exaggeration, pamphlets, everything I can get my hands on. Read the Quran, reread the Quran, looked at excerpts, and I wanted to know what makes this enemy tick and how can I get in his head and how can I dramatize it within this story. That was the whole key. It's like Ayn Rand, right? She wasn't a philosopher per se. She was a novelist, a fiction writer, but she wanted to create the ideal man. And what does she have to do in her mind? To study philosophy. To study philosophy. So to create the ideal man, what constitutes the ideal man? How can I do that? And she studied philosophy as much as she could, and then she created the ideal man. And what kind of world he would be clashing against. the real world that we live in with her idealized form of man and objectivist, the personification of her philosophy for how it works and so on, to all the heroes and Atlas Shrugged. It's fantastic. It's great stuff, guys. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. You guys, if you haven't read it, Ayn Rand, she gets shit by the left. The left lies about her. They say she can't write. That's a complete lie. Even an idiot like Christopher Hitchens said that, the drunkard. He was mainly known for drinking. I mean, honestly. He had his moments here and there, but he was mainly known for drinking. Oh, yeah. Ray Charles said, I love our new members in CG like you and Vasilis. Oh, thank you very much, man. I thought you just named Vasilis. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. You know, it's people are very territorial. I imagine when I first came on, like, who the fuck's this guy? You know, I did get that actually at times on X and also comments. It's to be expected, you know. We're very territorial. I've learned that, and I respect it. I respect that. But thank you, Ray Charles. Appreciate it. Yeah, guys, let me finish this up here. My pitch, and again, guys, there's no comic book like it out there. John Malin said it's the most important comic book in Comicsgate and any comics in general. Appreciate the hell out of that. You know, I really do. I'm looking forward to when he actually reads it and what he might think of it at that point. And we can talk about it. Egon the Dragoncock says, does a campaign have to hit a certain number for payment to come out? No, but I want to hit more. I definitely do. I want it to have a real wind on its back for issue 2 and so on. I really want to, you know, I want readers to tell me we really want this. And I'm thinking here, by the time I fulfill it, I'm thinking, I hope so at least, that it'll get another burst. Because I think if you don't know about this, I think when you guys read it, I think you'll really like it. That's what I've gotten from everyone who's read it. It was more than they thought. That's all the compliment. I love that. It was more than they thought it would be. Deeper, richer, wider, heavier, more confrontational, to be blunt. There's some stuff that happens there where people said they had to put it down. It was too hot. And I'm not out there to shock. I'm here to tell the truth about an evil enemy that we're at war with in real life. I'm trying to show how it can be taken down in fiction form. And I can't forget one thing, that this is an entertaining story. And it has to be entertaining. No matter how many battles I have in here, philosophical battles and arguments, it has to be entertaining for me and the reader. Or else it'll just be some kind of, tract. Just send it out there. This Islam evil. That's boring. It's boring as hell. I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. I want to make it as entertaining as can be while telling the truth about an evil ideology, an evil enemy, and his little helpers in the West from the left and to cowards on the right. You got a guy like the piece of shit from the UK, Mirage. He's been a pussy about Islam for over a decade. I called him Nigel Mirage years ago. He doesn't have it in him. He doesn't have the decency to say that Tommy Robinson is a good guy fighting the good fight. Doesn't have that in him. Doesn't have it in him to say we have to rid ourselves of this disgusting enemy within who's trying to Islamize the UK. He doesn't have it in him to do that. He wants their vote. Egon and Dragcock says, I need to know what happens after that last cliffhanger. I know. Thanks for wanting to, and that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that people read this and really want to get the series moving. Again, this is still a testing ground, I think, for some people. I'm still relatively new to this, even though, guys, I've been lingering. I've been in the background. I've been for 21 years. I've been writing and drawing comics and cartoons. I've drawn thousands of political cartoons for Front Page Magazine, for the Freedom Center, for David Horowitz's. I have a graphic novel. I have comics. I have 7 books. I have a lot of stuff. But to CG, specifically Comicsgate, I'm relatively new, even though I was checking out your boy Zach's videos, commenting. I remember JJ Trujillo wrote something, posted something on X. It was 2017 where I was commenting your boy Zach's posts, videos. So I've been always paying attention to this. I just, in my mind, I don't know what it was. Maybe, again, I'm such a loner that wouldn't want to be part of any group. I like the wilderness almost, Um, that's my nature. Uh, but I'm glad to be here. Glad to get your backing, guys. Thank you very much. So yeah, guys, if you can back it, I would really appreciate it. I want to get to issue 2. I want to get strong into issue 2. I want some wind behind my back. I really do. I want to be told, yes, we must get issue 2. It has to be out there. That's what I want to be told. And look, I'm pleased with where we are, but I want to get more. I definitely want to get more backers. I want to get to the point where it's like, okay, that's really, really strong. Definitely. Issue 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing's guaranteed, but if this goes well as I think it will, I'm trying other avenues also for advertising. I tried to do some X ads. They worked out well, and now they're not working out well. I tried a few, and they weren't boosting it. I was like, okay, I got some refunds for them at least from Apple, but the last one that they didn't boost, I didn't get a refund from Apple, and then they boosted it a little later in a half-assed way. I got 20,000 views. They promised 20 to 50. I got 150 in my first one. So I'm trying to find different avenues of advertising as well. And also, guys, space, right? On X, space. I want to try that. We can hear each other's voices talk about these things. It'll be interesting. I can try that as well to try to get the word out. I have 26,000 followers on X. That might be worthwhile. Introduce people who don't necessarily. And guys, the thing about Comicsgate, you guys are comic book readers. Some of you just became comic book readers with Comicsgate, which is fine by me. I know that Pigman was the first comic for a lot of people who bought it. I know that in the last 15 years, it was the first comic they got. The idea appealed to them. The in-your-face nature of it appealed to people who don't read comics necessarily. I appreciate that, but I definitely want to appeal to comic book readers as well. I definitely do. I love comics. You guys love comics. Egon Dragoncock says, also, you and Shanth and Anjetti have convinced me to give Rand another try. I couldn't get into Atlas Shrugged. Sounds like the Fountainhead would be a better start. Definitely start with the Fountainhead, Egon. Definitely start with the Fountainhead. You like that, you love that, you can easily get into Atlas Shrugged from that point. Fountainhead is about, basically it's about individualism versus collectivism. It's about not just in society, but as they say, in a man's soul. And I think that's a tagline for Atlas Shrugged, I believe. But basically, it's about this hero, this radical architect, and the enemies he makes. And the enemies are brutal. You got the greatest devil, I think, in literature, Ellsworth Toohey. The greatest devil, the greatest villain, the greatest he is. And Rourke, to me, is the greatest hero. He's such a clean, simple, direct hero. And he's also not overly so, but he is intellectual, but he's not again, one can see oneself as an intellectual without being haughty about it, without trying to use big words that are inappropriate at times. It's about these passionate heroes who want to retain their integrity, do the work their way, and fight anyone who comes against them, and just try to do the best work that they can do. And it's a great novel. Great novel. So yeah, you definitely should start with a Fountainhead, and then Shrug, and then you can go back and read The Living and her nonfiction, Romantic Manifesto. The Virtue of Selfishness is fantastic. It's her book on ethics, on selfishness versus you know versus selflessness. It's very important. I think that one is probably the most important of her nonfiction, at least. But a Fountainhead, definitely a Fountainhead. It's Alex Shrugged is an expanded form, I guess, of that. It goes to a global level. The conflict of Fountainhead. That's what it does. It takes the world into consideration at that point. It's an epic novel of many heroes and many villains, not just, in a Fountainhead. But yeah, it's worth it. It's she's great, and she's a very clean thinker. I mean, it's just not overly complex. She's an intellectual. She's a genius, but she doesn't try to. She respects the layman, I believe, and wants to connect with them in her work. There's something about it, something about that I respect. You don't have to be haughty about it. Again, it's not. It's like, oh, they don't get it. The average man. No, she wants the critical average man to read her books and understand them and learn from them and better their lives through it. She wants them to. The characters in there, the heroes' friends in there. Some of them are, quote unquote, average people, but they're good. They're good people. They make a difference. Eddie Willers and Atlas Shrugged, for instance, he's not these grand heroes, but he's a good man doing good work. It's acknowledged in there, and it's written so well. But yeah, guys, thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. So yeah, I'm just making my pitch here. You can you got 5 different covers for now. I'm thinking about doing a double page spread cover, front and back. It's something that I'm working out. But yeah, this is it, guys. Here's my preview. Here's my latest cover, cover 5. Here's my first cover. Pigman's killing jihadist, breaking that guy's neck, punching him to death. That guy in yellow is running faster than everyone, running for his life. That guy, his tongue's out. Is scared shit. That guy's playing dead. Even the guys with the Kalashnikovs are shaking. It's fun. You got these action lines here. They're all, bellied out. Egon says, unlike Marx, I tried reading his work and it just made me want to bash my head in with the book. Same thing with reading the Quran. It's unreadable, but I had to. It's mind-numbingly boring and repetitive, but I had to. I wanted to know what's in Super Jihad's head. I wanted to know what's in Islam's head. I wanted to know what's in the actual real-world enemy that we're facing and how best to defeat them. Use their ideas against them. Hit them where it hurts. Take their icons, demolish them. Treat them with zero respect. Their holiest of holy places, flatten them. We always want to separate. Yeah, but Muslims, yeah. The war is against Islam and its true believers who fight jihad in the name of Islam. That's the enemy. The ideology that motivates them, Islam, and its true believers. The others are irrelevant. They're irrelevant to us. They don't matter. I don't give a fuck if they're nice to you. I have nice cousins who are Muslim. Who gives a fuck when it comes to the war? They're irrelevant. They don't matter. They don't do anything against it. They don't speak out against it. To hell with them. And in this book, you have a cartoonist who responds to 9/11 like I did, creating a superhero comic book. And it's interesting. It's a double meaning, triple meaning, and all that. But I first thought of Pigman. Then I thought about, yeah, but I want to get a little deeper, richer. Let me make a cartoonist in there who creates Pigman. So it's 2 worlds. He's fighting a culture war. Pigman's fighting on the battlefield and the culture wars itself. Because Pigman, prior to becoming Pigman, was writing against Islam and jihad for years after he left Islam. And his partner was Muhammad, who ends up being Dr. Muhammad, advisor to Barack Obama. Years go by, though. It ends up, going from Bush to Obama to Trump. It'll be interesting. I got these ideas about Trump and how he reacts to Pigman. I think it's in character. I think it'll work. And I think I understand how it'll end up being. It'll be interesting to draw him and also have him talk about Pigman and get his thoughts on there. But yeah, these are the covers. Cover 1, cover 2, Pigman War Paint. Cover 3, all 4 characters, the main characters. Cover 4, Pigman vowing to end jihad with the tombstones of the Twin Towers. And then cover 5, another bloodied Pigman. And then I have index card drawings where I draw Pigman and these hard index cards. And unlike your average index card, they don't absorb the ink, so the black is really black on these cards. It's a nice look. You can get all 5 covers, digital copies, PDFs, Pigman T-shirt with a symbol. September 11th. Excuse me, I can do it here. September 11th. September 11th, and it's a lot more meanings, but just for now, that's the short of it. And you have the war paint print. You can get I Want It All pack, and then you can get also this trading card, which comes in a I Want It All pack, as do all the 5 covers, the index card, the print, and the T-shirt, and then also table form. You can back it. I was asked to add this, and I'm glad because I want more copies of table form on hand. It's been out of print for a bit now, so it'll be nice to have that. You can get some sketch covers: Pigman, Killian, Salam, Super Jihad, or whatever you want. You want Batman on there? I'll draw Batman. Spider-Man. I know people. I've seen people do that. Draw different characters on these things. That's fine by me. Original art of my Pigman comic, and then Pigman commission. It'll be original drawing of Pigman, penciled ink by me with an idea by you. Or, you tell me, draw what you want, or I have this idea. As long as it's not obscene, I'll happily do it. I don't draw obscene. It's not my thing. I know people challenge me, hey, I want you to draw, Pigman, Muhammad getting banged by a pig, and it's like, not really. Yeah, but I'm offering money. I said, I don't care. That's not my thing. I said, someone else can do it. You're a pussy. It's like, yeah, I guess, yeah. Yeah, call me that, sure. I've drawn Muhammad over 600 times now in many, many, many different ways. Just, I see it clear from me, obscene. I just don't like that. I don't want to bring myself down to the level. That's not my thing. It holds no interest in me. Here's a panel at a comic book convention. 4 different cartoonists, including Killian. I love these type of things. It's a battle of ideas between a Muslim, a Catholic, an atheist, leftist, communist, and Killian, who's also an atheist, but he's not a communist. He's a rational human being who left Islam, as Pigman as well. He left Islam as well. These are ex-Muslims, recovered Muslims, as opposed to the born-again Muslims, Super Jihad and Salam. Is one point where Pigman survives this really harrowing, attack. He's like, next step, flying. When pigs fly. All right, guys, I made my pitch. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who backed it. Thank you so much. I definitely want more backers. I'm going to keep pitching for it for the next few months. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for being here, guys. I got a nice amount of eyeballs here, more than last time, over 100 more, which is great. The numbers on YouTube, for some reason, have been less than usual. I don't know. If you guys can subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it, guys. I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And also, follow me on X. Follow me on X. And I'll be doing the final part of Born Again soon. Probably a few days, probably. Monday, maybe. In the afternoon, probably. And then from there, hey, ask me what I would like to review. Maybe Daredevil, Man Without Fear, Frank Miller, John Ray Jr. I could definitely do that. Batman Year One. I think I would love to do Batman Year One after this, just to show where Frank Miller and Dave Mazzucchelli went right after this. It'll be interesting also to contrast the art and his finished line in Batman Year One as opposed to Daredevil, because he definitely changed. It's awesome. It's also of one piece, Batman Year One, whereas this one he was experimenting, going a few different places, very different. Batman Year One is consistent from panel 1 till the end. It's of one piece. It's like he settled on a certain style, more stylized, interesting flat line that he used, and it was as if you could look at it. I could look at it as if Alex Toth inked it. That's how it looks to me. And Alex Toth, to me, it's all about the finished work. His finished work is better than anyone's ever. When he pencil and inked it, even lettered it, beautiful. Guys, thank you very much. If you have any last words, just pop it in. Let me know. If not, I'll just head out. But thank you for being here, and please back Pigman. Truly, it's unlike anything out there, flat out. And you can also back my first graphic novel here as well. I also have Propaganda, but that's out of print. Maybe I could add that to this. It's a first print appearance of Pigman. It's it was my blog, it was my collections of my blog work that was there. Rachel, take care. Oh, thank you, Mosh. Malin will do Secret Wars member stream. Join. I mentioned it to John because I was on his show a few weeks ago, and someone mentioned, it could have been you or someone mentioned, hey, maybe have Bosch on for Secret Wars, and he goes, Bosch, do you like Secret Wars? I said, love it, would love to. And John invited me also to be on his stream the whole day for his closeout, and I didn't see his message. Unfortunately, I would have went on, but I told him, I said, thanks for inviting me, but also, how about Secret Wars? And I'll read it. Unlike Shane, Shane said he's not going to read it. I'll reread it. I read it so many times, and I could just reread it before also. I have a lot to say about it. I love that series. That's really what got me into comics. That was it. My older brother, brought it home and blew me away. Loved it. So, guys, take care. Thank you very much. Until next time, thank you, man. Be well. Thank you.